Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. We've got a couple of big front engine jobs going on here today. On the 150 Prado, one of the first things you do is remove this top plastic shroud. We've got more detailed videos in the VIP group for those people that have decided they're going to do it themselves or do it themselves. If you purchase that kit from us, you do get access to the group. Might be a few tips on there on how to get it done a bit easier. Once you've got that off, 3 bolts in this tank. Clamp off, see that clamp on the hose underneath it, and then we're going to get that tank out of the way. Let's go over to the Hilux and see what's happening over here. Okay, so this is a Hilux. So one of the first things you're going to do is remove the cover over the intercooler to give you a little bit more access room at the front here. Remove the wiring loom. The same sort of process. Get this header tank out of the way, the power steering reservoir, the top radiator hose. We'll come back to you with a few more tips, but like I said, if you want to see the full detailed information, if you've purchased an injector kit or you're after one of this timing belt big front engine kit, shoot me a text 0490 261 013 and we've got all the information there for you. Okay guys, so back over to the Prado 150. We've got the high vis gloves on so we don't get our hands dirty, because this one's not dirty but a little bit dirty. So we've got the top radiator hose off. We've got that header tank, we'll call it, out of the way. The clamp, there's 2 clamps down on that line there, on the coolant one, and also the transmission. We've undone those clamps. The 2 bolts out of the fan shroud, so that's loose here at each side, and we've taken the 4 nuts off the fan. The fan's still sitting there stuck on at the moment, which is beautiful. We're going to pop that off and get the fan and the fan shroud out all in one piece. We'll pop over to the, let's check out the Hilux. See what's happening over here. Look at this. What's going on here? Okay, so we've got the, as we said, the wiring loom out of the way. Looks like it's sort of catching up to a similar sort of stage. Right. Yeah. So what do we got here? Okay, so airbox out of the way. That's a good option on the Hilux, because this one's got the 1-piece pump, so the backing plate, the whole lot. This is the big job. We've got the video on this with an engine out to show you in a lot more detail in the VIP group. This one, the whole compressor has to come back, the alternator has to come back. Looks like someone's given that a good tap. That's been replaced at some time and it's had a good tap to get tapped in there. So battery disconnected, as you can see over there, because the wires have to come off the alternator, the plug, the alternator out, the compressor off. And that's why you do the water pump when you do the timing belt, because sometimes they're a 1-piece unit like this. And we converted over, as I've said before, we converted over to a 2-piece pump, and you got rocks in your head. If you saw that video we put up the other day that showed that water pump that had completely collapsed, I suppose that's enough evidence. You know, 150,000 Ks in my book is a long time, and it's a small amount of money to spend when you spread it over the period. Let's say, you know, with all the parts, coolant, labour, or whatever, let's just say you're going to spend $1,500, $2,000, you know, over $100 every 10,000 Ks. Anyway, up to you guys. I'm just showing you roughly what's involved. This top radiator hose is going to come off like the other one. Bada bing. Haven't got time to do full videos today, just giving you a taste and giving you a bit of direction. Hope that helps. We'll try and add on a bit more. If you like it so far, give us the thumbs up right now. And don't forget to subscribe. We've got better, more important videos and information coming your way. Okay, so I don't know if we said we've got the fan and the fan shroud out the way. Gives you a whole heap more room in here. We're going to give it a big clean up, reverse flush the radiator, make sure the timing marks are all lined up. Now it depends whether you've got a 1 or 2-piece water pump. This engine has got a 2-piece pump already, so there's less work to do. We'd have to remove all this compressor and alternator and everything. It depends whether your cam seal's leaking, whether you're replacing that, what you do next. As I said, the full detail is in the VIP group. Top radiator hose off, so we've got a full access through here. So timing belt's lined up. On this one, the next thing we're going to do is remove the tensioner and the idler and give it all a big clean up. Then the water pump will be coming off. Let's go have a look at the other one and see what's happening. What stage it's at. Okay, right. Okay, so compressor's there, alternator's gone. Okay, so that'll allow to get that tensioner off. Makes it look easy when it's all half done, isn't it? You know, it's quite a lot of work, guys, so don't be fooled. Fan and fan shroud out to open it all up for access at the front there. And of course, like we said, that time belt's got to come off to get that water pump out. If I've got time, I'll keep coming back to these vehicles and show you the update as we go, but I can't guarantee it. Thanks for watching so far. Like I said, give us a thumbs up and we'll get back to you with a bit more info soon. Okay, so what we've done is remove the time belt idler, the tensioner. We haven't given a clean up yet. We've got the 6 bolts out of the water pump. So we're ready to pop that water pump off. And the other thing we do is right down the bottom there, see this hose, this one, follow it to the bottom, take that clamp and hose off, and it allows the rest of the coolant to drain out. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go to the other car. We're coming over to the other vehicle to have a bit of a look, see what's happening, what stage you're at over here. Oh yeah, you know, bit of a catch up there. Okay, he's catching up on us. We better get back over here and get this other one. He might beat us. All right, guys, that's what's happening. Same deal here. Timing belt's coming off. This one, the cam seal could be getting changed. We're undecided yet, maybe not, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Doesn't look like it's leaking, but it's all got to come off, that whole backing plate and all, to get this water pump off. Keep watching and you'll see the difference. Remember, give us a thumbs up if you're liking it so far. Okay guys, so we're just starting to give this a bit of a clean up. We've given it a good degrease. We didn't bother scrubbing it. What doesn't wash off with the degrease and a light pressure wash doesn't matter. This staining, that's your mud equals money, your bog hole thing. Just goes to show how some water and that does get in there, and it does stain the plastics a little bit, so no big deal as long as everything's clean. Bit of a clean up there. Let's go and have a look on the other one again and see what's happening. Okay, so you can see the whole big, see the difference? The whole backing plate for the timing belt is off, and this is exactly that video to show you the comparison. This is an early Euro 3 to show you the exact comparison between the two, the amount of work involved, the difference. This is quite a lot of work, so if you don't feel like you're that game that you want to go in and get this one done, or either of them for that matter, you know, you can always shoot me a text, book the vehicle in, and we'll get the job done for you. But this one-piece water pump is a much bigger job, and we're going to convert it over to a 2-piece, so this never has to happen again. I don't know what they were thinking. Alright guys, stay tuned. We'll come back to you with the next update shortly. Okay guys, so this is the Prado. We've got the new idler on, we've got the new tensioner on. They're all torqued up, the bottom 2 bolts, and this one, the marks were all lined up perfectly. As we've shown, we've got plenty of videos showing you the time belt marks, so we're not going to go through that. What I am going to teach you in this one though is the reason it's off is because after you've made sure everything's on and you've checked the torque on all your bolts and you're happy and it's clean and it's right, put a 22mm on the crankshaft down here, right down there, and turn it. And if it moves even that far, you know you're in business. So we double check by checking that mark there and also the one down the bottom. And then once it's all done, before we put the cover on, we're going to turn it a little bit. If this was out on this engine, it's going to hit a valve straight away. Now I'd suggest this is where it becomes general information for anyone watching. Any timing belt you ever do, take photos before you take it off. Make sure you know the procedure. You may need help. Sometimes there's multi-cams and they move as soon as you take the belts off, and you need hands. That can be a real pain. That's why we don't touch them. And basically what I want to say, yeah, turn it a long way, do a full revolution, bring it back to where all your marks are lined up, and go, yep, 100% we're all clear before you put your covers on. So that was your tip of the day. This one we're going to clean it up a little bit, get that water pump back on. We'll get this cover on first. We've reverse flushed a bit of the radiator. It's part of what we do, part of the job. A lot of cleaning up in here, and we're going to do a bit more of that after we get the timing cover on. Alright guys, we'll give you another update shortly. This one's progressing along nicely. It's progressing along. We didn't clean the outside of the timing cover too much. We're mainly worried about the inside. It's all nice and clean. All that's on, double, triple, quadruple checked. Water pump's just going back in position. You can see the bolts are just sitting loose. We're just going to nip those up. Timing belt's on, water pump will be on. Then those pulleys will go back on with the new bearings in them, because those bearings do fail. So we supply the genuine OEM ones in the kit. And of course a new drive belt. We'll come back to you with an update. Let's see what's happening on the Hilux. What are we up to on this one? Let me see. Just to show you, we haven't given this one a super duper cleanup yet, just the parts that matter. And we're getting the water pump back on. You can see we've converted it over from the old one piece to a two piece. So next time it's just remove these bolts. This tensioner bracket can stay there. These bolts will still be in over this side, holding that side of the backing plate of the water pump. Never going to be an issue. Just changing that front part of the water pump is all you need to do once you've got that two-piece pump in place. And bit of a coincidence that, you know, we're doing the timing belt here, and you know, on one of them the water pump's not leaking, and basically, you know, on one of them it is. So let's have a look at that. Look at that. There's the whole back of it, right? So most of that mess, it's not the gasket leaking, you know. Most of that mess is from, let's spin it around and have a look where the real leak is. You can see that. See that? That's your telltale sign of it leaking. It can be hard to spot, and that's probably been leaking down and running backwards. Look, leaking at that side as well, right? Pretty nasty. So that's why we call it the big front engine job. And we just do the whole water pump, timing belt, idler, tensioner, the cam seal if it's leaking. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, okay? They don't leak, as you can see. This one's not leaking, either is the other one. Don't be confused, because you've got people overflowing oil out here and it's going down the front here and it looks like an oil leak. That isn't an oil leak. That's people being not taking enough care when refilling the engine oil, okay? This looks good here. I know the injectors were replaced recently, so this few little dobs of silicone, yeah, I can see underneath there is one there too, so good to see they've watched the video well when they did that by the looks of it. So anyway guys, bada bing, we'll give you another update shortly, or this could be the end of the video. In case it is, don't forget, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. We've got more detailed videos in the VIP group with and we're going to have more, you know, we just keep adding to it. It's what we've got time for. This is just a quick bit of info for you. Hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching. See you. Okay, Pradologists, we're going to go a little bit further. So what we've done next is, I can't remember what we're up to, but anyway, timing covers on, of course. Water pumps on, that's all torqued up. What we do, we put this pulley on with one nut just to hold it in place. This is our procedure, we think is the easiest way. And then basically what we do is sit these pulleys in place. Those three pulleys you had off, that we replace those bearings, new belt, and get all the belt and everything on, and then check the torque of these before we put the fan and everything back on, because it's easier. And then we're just going to pop this nut back off to slip the fan and the fan shroud back in place. And I suppose we're almost to the hard parts done. And don't forget, get this wire from here and plug it back in before you forget. Otherwise that'll be a bit of fun for you as well. Anyway guys, we're going to have a look at the Hilux and see what's happening here. The Hilux is coming back together nicely, just about to pull the pin on the grenade, and bada bing, we'll come back to you with an update soon. A bit breezy out here today. Love doing these jobs outside, but not the ideal for it. Love doing them in unison. Here we go. So the Prado's coming back together. We've got the belt on, we've got the fan and all the nuts on. We just got to work on getting that header tank on, and it's just about there. We'll soon start pouring some coolant into it. Let's just swap hands for a minute. We'll go over here to this one and have a bit of a look, see what's going on here. Ah, yes, you know, we're getting it back together. Timing belt covers on, tensioner assembly, quite a big unit that, and creates a fair bit of extra work really. Slowly getting that back together. Bada bing, show you some photos shortly. Okay guys, so this Prado's pretty well nearly back together. We're just giving the cooling system, I like to, as soon as the hoses are on, the plugs in, start pouring the coolant in. Well before the engine starts, I want it to take around the 7 to 8 litres before we even start the engine. That's around about where it's at. It's sitting just at that level there nicely. Okay, we've got everything back on, all the clips and that on the hoses down there, nuts and bolts. Putting this cover back on, got a couple more clips to go in, and this little cap comes off the top here to let the air out, sort of pre-bleed the cooling system. Anyway, that's about it for this one. I hope you've got some helpful information out of that. Let's go check out the Hilux and see what's happening. Tip on the Hilux is try and get this header tank back on and these clips and everything down the bottom where it fits in there before you put this airbox back in, because opens it up quite a bit to give you room to do so. But as you can see, like the other one, it's slowly getting there, going back together. As we say, bada boom, bada bing. And that definitely is it for this video. So bada bing, bada boom. Catch ya.